We're live. Well, hi everyone, and thanks for joining us. Today I'm with Dino Pacella, who builds engaging and collaborative networks. How you doing today, Dino?
Martin, I'm doing great, mate. Nice to be with you.
Yep, thanks. Thanks for joining me this morning. Are you, I noticed from your surname, you've got a bit of Italian in you, have you?
I do. Yeah. Parents are both born in Italy and moved over when they were probably late teenagers. So you're first generation born of a Pacellas in Australia. So you're definitely Italian heritage.
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, no, it's a silly question, but I'm also Italian background. My parents came over in 1953 and I was born here in Australia. No, that's great. Well, thanks, Dino, for your time today and for accepting this interview, which I think will help others who are reviewing their career aspirations. So we'll get right into it. Dino, can you share a little bit about yourself, your background, and what you do?
Yeah, thanks, Martin. That can be such a long-winded answer as well. So I'll try and keep it short and sweet. Um, for the last 7-8 years, I've worked as a business development manager. So what that looks like within the broker channel is working for an employer and assisting brokers expand their business through financial service offerings where they can then present to their clients. So whether they may be residential mortgages, small business lending, commercial lending, and that's where I've spent the last 7 to 8 years. Prior to that, I've worked in banking for 10 years. So last 17 years of my life has all been across banking. But I do have as well as having a passion for finance brokers and how they can really help their clients, I do have a passion for personal branding and social media content creation, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, makes sense because it's all interrelated. We need to be able to, how do you say, communicate with others, and branding is obviously a key part of that to get the
Yeah,
message
absolutely.
that to help people. If you can't communicate with people, then you probably can't help them, or you're limited in how you can help them. Well,
Yeah.
that's great. So, may I ask you, why did you become a business development manager? Was there something or someone that influenced you?
Uh, but I don't have a wonderful story that I can share with people,
Oh, you can
to be
make one up
perfectly
if you
honest.
like.
I won't, just in case my old boss is watching. But I sort of fell into it. I was in a regional operation manager role with a previous employer for a while. It wasn't particularly going the way that I had expected the role to.
Yeah.
And the intermediaries team at that employer were looking for a new business development manager. I knew the state manager quite well, and we got along well because we used to see each other in the offices, but obviously didn't work directly together. And he said one day, "Hey, listen, I've got a role. Do you want to go have a coffee?" And then 3 weeks later, I was joining his team as a business development manager. So I really didn't have a full understanding of what brokers did at that stage. I knew what the role entailed and I had the basic understanding. But after 3 or 4 months in the role, I really started to love what brokers were doing, what they brought to the Australian markets, and how they really helped Australians through getting into their own home or expanding a business or getting better at their finances. And I really thought, no, I love this. I'm going to stick with it. And 8 years later, I haven't looked back.
Oh, that's fantastic. Actually, it's interesting what you just said, because it is quite often where people, they end up for whatever reason in a new role, and when they look back, and it sounds like from what you're saying is that you love it, looking back, it seems like it actually happened for you, not to you, if you know
Yeah,
what I mean. It's like
absolutely.
Steve Jobs, when he talks about joining the dots, you can only join them looking back, not forward. So sometimes we might be going through a bit of pain or struggle and thinking, well, is God punishing me here, or is he challenging me? And actually, in time or further down the road, we actually realize that it was meant to happen because we needed that piece. And it all kind of fits into the bigger puzzle, which will probably be revealed when we take our last breath on. But no, that's great. And you touched a bit about your passions. Well, let's talk about that. So you're passionate about finance brokers, and you've explained a bit about that. Was anything else you wanted to add about that?
Oh, listen, I think the passion extends to really just helping the Australian market understand what brokers do, because a lot think potentially that they just help with a loan, and they go, "Oh, broker's just going to help me get a loan," and then they're gone, and I'm done with that service, right? And there's a lot of, I suppose, aspects around that service what a large percentage of the Australian population aren't aware of, and that's 99% of brokers don't charge a fee for their service, so they're remunerated by the lender that the client decides to go to. But they're really becoming trusted advisors for clients, where they've done a loan, yeah, great, but they'll review that loan every 6 to 12 months, review the client's financial circumstances, and ensure that that loan is right. And if there's any other opportunities or needs that the client has, then the broker has, either they can help under their own roof, or they've built a very large network of industry professionals where they can refer the client to. So it's really that relationship that goes well beyond just a loan. Yeah. And that's what I really like about brokers. So I extended that, and I wanted to share that message with the Australian market. So I created a day called National Finance Brokers Day, and it's celebrated the official days on the third Wednesday. Yeah, in August, correct. Thank you. That's good. It's working. And so people get to, the industry gets to celebrate the work they're doing for clients, and as well, clients understand a little bit more about what brokers do, even though it's a big lead up to that day every year. So that's part of my passion for brokers and where that's heading.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I can relate what you're saying about brokers. And yeah, well done in establishing that national day. And I think it is important to get the message out there, get the understanding that they do add value. In fact, many years ago, when I started investing in property, I actually went through a finance broker. And then down the track, I ended up changing, going with ANZ Bank at the time. And then I thought, many years after that, I actually called up just, I guess, a random finance broker, and I asked them, "Can you please review my loan and tell me what you think?" And I was actually quite, pleasantly surprised about the trusted bit you mentioned. Absolutely trust them, because they actually said to me, they said, "Martin, to be honest with you, I've looked at Commonwealth, I've looked at Suncorp, I looked at all these different banks. You're best staying where you are with Suncorp." It wasn't like they're trying to push something onto me to get a commission, make a quick buck. I actually left with a nice warm feeling that actually not all people in business are out there just to make money. There are people are ethical in what they do, which is fantastic. So I can, vouch for what you've said.
I'm good. I'm glad you had a great experience with them. That's good.
It was a great experience. Also, you mentioned personal branding is another passion of yours. Did that come from somewhere?
I suppose it started when I started becoming a business development manager. So what was that? 6-7 years ago, the initial role started, and I went, how can I build bigger networks rather than just going one-on-one or going to conferences and doing it all face-to-face? How can I get in front of the right people, and how can I showcase what I do and potentially maybe what I do better than the competitors? And then I looked into online branding, and I thought, okay, let's spend a bit of time on doing this. And I thought that somebody first at my old employer goes, "Hey, are you on LinkedIn? Because I can see you're on LinkedIn, but you don't do much." I went, "Yeah, now and then I'll have a look at it." And this was going back 7 years ago. And he goes, "Well, mate, you should be on it. You should be on it all the time, because don't you want to tell people you're the best?"
Yeah, that's.
And I went, "Well, yeah, I do. So I took that on board, and I took it too literally, in the sense that all I posted was about how wonderful I was doing, how wonderful my employer was doing. And excuse my French, but I came across like a real wanker. Right? And people go, "Oh my God, what's going on?" But that's what I thought branding was all about 7 years ago, was just showcasing what you did. All right. Yep. And I look back on it and God, how bloody wrong I was. But I'm glad I learned that lesson.
Yep.
Because branding isn't that. And now that business side of that branding makes up about 10% of the content that I put out. So I'm glad I went around that branding journey. And I think anybody, whether they're self-employed or an employee,
yep,
I think there's no reason why you can't work on your own brand, because you never know what's around the corner, particularly if you're an employee. And God, who would have thought 3 months ago that 10% of the workforce in Australia would be unemployed? You would never have thought of that. So having a strong brand just creates those reactive opportunities that are going to come your way when you have that and when your credibility is shown throughout your network, whether that's online or face-to-face. So that's why I have a strong passion for that branding and what people can do with it.
Yes, makes perfect sense because the world is changing and it is important for people to know who you are. So it's important to be seen, heard and understood. But not only that,
Absolutely.
like you touched on, it's also you're helping other people get exposed by, doing interviews or promoting other people or introducing, someone to someone else that can, have a beneficial relationship. Also, I noticed some of your posts, you talk about flipping the M. Do you want to just touch on that?
Yeah, so that probably came about 18 months ago when I was doing a keynote presentation around branding on LinkedIn. And I shared that story around what I thought branding was all about, like showcasing what I used to do. And I thought, God, that looks terrible looking back on it, right?
Yep.
And I thought, how can I put that into words on how the light bulb switched on, Martin? And I went, I thought it was all about me. But if I flip the M in the me and concentrate about the we factor, then to me, that is what branding and growing a really collaborative network is all about. Because if I make it about other people, and like you said, I think you touched on it perfectly around what true value networking is all about, is me connecting to other people that don't know each other. They can build a relationship, whether business flows from that or not. But I think if you're doing that, then not only are you growing your network, because people are going to come back to you going, Dino, thank you so much for introducing me to Martin. God, we built up a relationship. We're doing X, Y, Z now.
Yes.
So that's why I thought every time I try and create content, is it adding value and is it about that we factor, the us factor, or is it purely just about myself? And don't get me wrong, I don't get it right all the time. Sometimes it does become has that self-centered focus. And I look back and I go, shit, maybe I shouldn't have done that. But I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
And if I make a mistake, I make a mistake. It's as long as I'm not making a mistake that's going to damage my brand or damage other people's brand around me.
Yeah, true. No, you're right. I mean, no one's perfect. And actually, you reminded me of a story I heard about Tony Robbins, where he was struggling in his business. And then he was driving down the freeway very angry. And he came up with the thought, or some message came to him, that the secret to living is giving. And it's quite powerful that it takes a while for people, including myself, to, figure out that to get what you want, you need to give first, and then you get. And at the end of the day, I mean, people, they don't want things. They want to feel good. That's all it is. They just want experiences and to feel good. And it's about letting go, I think, of the ego. The ego is the biggest problem I find. It's what holds people back. If you can dissolve the ego, then really you're going to become fearless, selfless, and more loving. And that's something I'm actually personally working on, because I've got at times a big ego and I can come across a bit arrogant, but at least step one, became aware of it. And then step two, try and do something every day to work on that. So thanks for sharing that. Did you want to add something else? Or
I was just going to say, Martin, off the back of it, I think you touched on it really well, was the ego point, because we all have some type of ego.
Yeah.
But it's how do you put that aside and make people feel comfortable when they're hanging around you, whether that's online or face-to-face, right?
Yeah.
And I think with that ego comes the anxiety and the fear factor as well.
Yeah.
So going, well, how do I grow that network? How do I showcase who I really am without my mind going, what are people going to think of me?
Yes.
People aren't going to like me. Oh my
That's why
God,
you got to
what
get rid
happens
of
if
the
my boss
ego.
sees it?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think they go hand in hand. So I'm glad you mentioned that ego.
Yeah, because if you can get rid of the ego, it's a lot easier to put yourself out there. When you've got this ego, you've got this, how do you say, identity. Then putting yourself out there, you put yourself at risk, because someone could attack that image that you've created of yourself. And that's when you start feeling pain. You're going to start feeling hurt, or you're going to get offended. So if you can get rid of the self, which is the ego, to me, that's what I've realized is the key. And then you don't care not that you're reckless, but you don't care because you're just on your mission to, I guess, be helpful, because the more helpful you are, the more it's going to come back and you're going to feel better. Now, that's great. Yeah. Now, there's another passion of yours, the football club. What was it? Chelsea.
Yep.
Yeah, where did that one come from?
Yeah. Oh, listen, I obviously used to play football. I don't play it now. I'm 43, though. I'd probably like to go play maybe socially, because I do miss that social aspect from the football when you give up. Um,
You're a
but
goalkeeper,
I
weren't
used to,
you? Were you a
I
goal-
was. I used to play. Yeah, I used to play semi-professionally in WA as a goalkeeper
Yeah,
for about
I
20
remember seeing a
years.
video of you. Was it
Yeah,
something to do
yeah.
with a leg or something?
I think I found a video that I gave away a penalty at, but what it was then how do you overcome being down and being upset and annoyed at yourself
Yes.
through getting the right mindset with very, very quickly. And then within the next minute to 90 seconds, I saved that penalty. And
Oh,
I
excellent.
think we still end up losing the game, but it was all about how to get your mind back in the
Yeah,
game
yeah.
and
Good
doing that.
message.
But yeah, so out of playing semi-pro, I was invited to Inter Milan when I was 16 to do a 2-month trial there and visited a few clubs. So I always used to follow Serie A in Italy and watching the football over there. So I loved watching Zola and all those players back in the mid-90s, early 90s. But then when Zola moved to Chelsea, that was when I went, oh, there must be a reason why he's going to Chelsea, moving over from
Yep.
Italy to the EPL. So I started watching Zola in the EPL and I started going, oh, this EPL is not too bad. More players, more imports started moving over to England and started sprucing up what that league was. And now it's massive. It's such a popular league, such a quality league.
Yes.
That ever since that time that Zola joined and Vialli joined and even Ruud Gullit from the Netherlands joined,
Yes.
I went, yeah, no, I actually quite like what the club stands for and the culture, and actually go through the website and read stuff that they do in the community rather than just watching the games. And they do a lot in that London community that I really like. And it's all about that culture fit, like going to work for a company, right? It's just, I support football. Yeah, it's about the players, about them winning.
Yep.
But what else do they do? And I think what we're going through at the moment in the world, a lot of their players are showcasing what they're doing. The female team, the youth team, the first team, the owners, the board, they're all doing different things to help the club get through and help the community work through it. Like, sorry to drag on about this one, Martin, but there was Frank Lampard, who's head coach Chelsea. He was interviewing a doctor that was helping COVID-19 recipients through the emergency hospitals that were purely for COVID-19 patients. And Frank Lampard was talking to him about the wonderful work he was doing. And then they were talking about a little bit about Chelsea's season so far and some of Frank Lampard's best moments. But it was such a nice feeling that this guy was rapt to be able to talk to Frank Lampard around what they're doing. And Lampard was really sincere and genuine in his thanks and praise for the work that they're doing, particularly the impact that that's having in England. So that's a little thing that they do. And I'm sure a lot of clubs are doing it. But for me, it just cements why you follow a football club. It's not just about the trophies that they win. It's what they do off the field.
Yes.
So that's probably a long-winded answer to a really short, simple question, though.
Yeah. No, that's cool. I mean, that actually touches on some key points there. I just realised. I mean, it all ties back to branding, and it was the goalkeeper. Was that Dino Zoff?
I used to watch Dino Zoff as well.
Yes.
I don't know if my parents named me after Zoff, but
I was going to say you got the same name because I remember Dino Zoff in the World Cups, and is it Paolo Rossi and all that. But the thing I wanted to say was, it's interesting. Like you talk about branding and the football club, and it's all related because Dino Zoff introduced you to the Chelsea Football Club. So it's exactly the same with, say, me introducing you to someone I know that would be beneficial to you. So it's all very interesting how it's all interrelated, all interconnected.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Spot on.
Yeah, cool. Okay, I was going to ask you, like, you've done a bit of this personal branding. So in terms of building up, say, a personal branding, I don't know, hobby, side hustle, business, may I ask you, did you do that while you're still in a 9-to-5? And how did you do it? Because I know a lot of people think about starting businesses, but they're in a 9-to-5 and they say, well, I'm stuck. I can't start a business. So just if you can help give some insights.
Yeah. Whether they're starting a business or not, I think the brand becomes important. So I started building the brand when I was in a 9-to-5 job. But it was from the aspect then of building that network and that community. and showcasing what I could do. So what I didn't want to do is become a salesperson where I was doing cold calls. What I wanted to do is flip that, and at the end, I wanted people to reach out to me because they've been seeing what I've been putting in that content. Yeah, exactly right. Or alternatively, then having a call with somebody, and if I could get my objective was if I could get 5 out of 10 people for that day that I've made a call to that I've never spoken to, that they say, "Oh, actually, I see you online," and that was the opening remark. And as soon as I got somebody to say that, I knew the brand was working.
Yes,
because then they would go into a meeting, build your relationship from there. Because I only went from doing BDM role into building the branding business for 18 months, and then I went back into the broker channel because a wonderful opportunity came my way. But I think transitioning was ensuring that I had all the ducks in a row. So the brand was strong enough that I could go out and I could automatically get some clients from what I've been doing, because I knew that proposition was there, and that there was a gap in the market that I could come and deliver when it comes to branding, particularly across LinkedIn. That people wanted that attraction, but given the LinkedIn platform, I think has over 500 million users now,
yes,
worldwide, is how do you get that all important attraction? And it becomes difficult when there's so many people in your industry. Yeah, how do you overcome that? And it all became around the right content creation. It came about that consistency. And like anything, man, whether you wanted to lose weight or you want to learn a new language, bloody do it every day. That's all I can tell people. If you want to do your brand, don't work on it Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and forget about it Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, because it doesn't work. All you need to do is invest the time into it every single day. I'm a bit of an analogy man at the moment, so I like using the analogy that if you've got a power cord, right, and you want to plug it into the wall socket, if you imagine the wall socket and everything behind that socket is your life.
yes,
Right? The power plug, the power cord, I should say, is your brand. So if you know how, and if you can understand how you can plug in your power cord, your brand into your life, hit the on switch, and you understand how that electricity works to amplify your brand into your lifestyle, then that's how that attraction starts working, because you're putting out the right content, you're showing up every day online, you're helping people, you're building that network. It's not just about yourself. It's about what you're doing and how do you showcase your credibility by helping other people. So it's not, branding it should never be rocket science.
Yep.
All right. The biggest thing, like with anything, is people will do it for a week or two and go, yeah, I'm busy now with clients, or I've got busy, or something's happened, or I've moved house, or we've had a baby, or whatever. And I forget about it. And then I don't come back to it.
yes.
So I think everybody has a strong understanding around what branding is. It's that in-between part. It's that doing of the actions is where we fall over. I know how to lose weight.
Yes.
But man, do I still go on my phone and order Uber Eats probably once every 2 weeks? Absolutely, I do.
Yes.
Why? Because I just love it, right? But
Yeah.
I love branding more so that I don't let my brand fall over in any way. Right. So I hope that provides a little bit of context.
Yeah, that's excellent. An excellent analogy. So what you're saying is your brand, you basically got to live and breathe it every day, and it is part of who you are. And I understand about the plug it into the socket, because once you plug into the socket, and behind that is the truth, who you really are, your authentic self, then the electricity starts to flow and you actually shine if there's a light bulb at the end of that cord. And that's how you connect and engage with people. People want to see, the good, the bad, the ugly, the raw. They don't want some, fake puppet, I suppose, because then they can't relate. So it makes perfect sense exactly what you're saying.
I always, when I was presenting on a LinkedIn workshop once a couple of years ago, I always referred to it. I said, who here watches reality TV? And I think 90% of the people in the room put their hand up. And I said, why do you continue watching it? Oh, we like the characters, the drama, there's no bullshit. Okay, it's edited and all of that, fair enough. Yeah. But take that away, people are connecting with real people.
Yes.
All right. Where, listen, if you want to work on a brand and if people want to expect you to be perfect and the lighting's right and the background's right and the content is perfect, there's no ums and ahs and you're scratching your head, right? We'll just switch on Netflix and watch a show there, whatever you want to watch, or go to the movies and watch professional actors do their thing. That's why they're professional actors, because that's bloody hard work. Trust me. If you've ever tried to memorize a script for 3 minutes and then go back and say it perfectly, it takes a lot of work.
It takes a lot of work.
It's really hard. Hence why branding's not about that, thank God, because we wouldn't be doing it well. But yeah, you're right. It's shine that light, turn the light bulb on and make it as bright as possible for people to see you.
Yeah, of course, because how you say, that kind of inspires and empowers other people, because people learn through, role models, and that's how, we all get better by, seeing someone that's a couple of steps ahead and more or less doing what they're doing. And yeah, like you said, about being yourself and authentic, because what happens, people can relate to that, obviously, because what it is they're actually seeing themselves in that other person. It's like, I guess, with your football team, when it wins, you probably get excited. And the reason is, and I did a video on this, is because that football team's great and you can relate because you're great and you can see the greatness in them, which is actually you're seeing the greatness in you. It's kind of weird. But yeah, no, that's fantastic. Now, so in terms of you're doing the branding kind of on the side, obviously for people that are thinking of, kickstarting a new hobby or side hustle business, obviously there's, between 6 p.m. and midnight, there's 6 hours there. So there's no real excuse. I know some people have got families, but we can always find an hour or two. If we want it bad enough, we'll make the time and do it. And plus, it's good to do something you're passionate about, because it lights you up. And that's what I'm kind of all about putting out there as a message. And in terms of the challenges that you faced, you said that it's important to be consistent and to come up with good, valuable content. But yeah, I think you also answered the question by saying that if it's something that you love and you're passionate about, you've got endless fuel and energy. Obviously, if you're just doing something to make a quick buck, and then I've seen a lot of people do that, they start one project, it's all about the money, they don't care about the product. And it doesn't work because people feel that energy, and then they switch to the next product, which is not right. It's best to stick with something that you truly believe in. So with your branding, can I ask, do you remember your first client and how you actually got them and how that made you feel?
Yeah, listen, when I went out of the corporate world and did the branding business, or even when I'm helping people now, it was a matter of just going out to the network. So I took different strategic approaches. One was actually posting about it, doing a video, sharing what I was doing and how I can help people build the practical side of their brand. So I knew what I wanted to deliver, and I knew what I wasn't going to do or what I wasn't good at.
That's important to know.
I think, yeah, absolutely. So people were asking, can you help me with a real targeted lead gen strategy across Facebook? And I went, do you know what? That's not for me, but I know somebody that can help you, right? It always reminds me, I've gone off the topic, but if you ever watch the movie Two Guns with Denzel Washington and Mark Wahlberg, it's Bobby, I know a guy, Bobby, right? Every time the drug dealer was asking him, he goes, yep, I know a guy. And I think that's what you need to be when you're starting your own business.
Know what you know and what you don't know.
Yeah, and know somebody who can help you find somebody. So you're not just saying
adding value. Yeah,
correct. So it was just a post. It was messaging. It was calling people. It was doing campaigns. It was all of that. And the first client just came back off a post, and I think it just flowed on from there. So I made a conscious decision just to do one post a week around how I can help people and what that looks like and how they can fit branding into their current lifestyle. And it was just a consistent message going out to people, and then the clients flowed. And that made me feel like Chelsea football team winning. I was wrapped every time I secured a client, but I was more so excited that once I had a client that they understood as well that they would only stay with me for 2 or 3 months.
Yeah. You don't want them to become dependent. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and it wasn't only that. I think once you understand the branding and you make it a daily habit of what you're doing, and you're getting to that point where it's enjoyable for you, then all of a sudden you don't need somebody holding your hand. I explained it in the sense that if you take yourself back, Martin, to when we learned how to drive.
Yes.
Right. Now, again, I'm presuming you have a driver's license here.
I did this
morning. Right. Not that I've gone out of the house much in the last few weeks, but when we learn how to drive, you need somebody there teaching you, right? But you only need them there teaching you for I don't know, 7, 8, 9, 10 lessons. But once you get that driver's license, you can go off and go drive by yourself. And now, I bet you, I've had my license for, I don't know,
21 this year.
I don't know, 26 years. Now you get in the car and half of the time you've got Bluetooth on or the music's playing, you'll get from A to B and you don't even remember which roads you've taken.
Well, hey, you got there,
You just do it.
Yeah.
You just do it without thinking. It becomes like that. And I was thinking that is how you become really great at your brand. When you're getting content creative around because of your surroundings and you're sharing some true, real valuable information or your knowledge or your journey where other people can pick up on. So, and it's never everybody that's going to pick it up on. And that's what I was doing for the client. So after I felt that they had a good handle of their brand and we were keeping analytics of each post and all of that, then I would say, listen, next week's actually going to be your last time with me. And I had a lot of clients going, what do you mean?
Yeah.
And I go, listen, we've done whatever they had secured the 2 months. They go, oh, listen, can we cover off another month? And I went, you actually don't need it. I've taught you everything.
Yeah.
But I want to stay with you. You don't need to. I don't want your money anymore because there's no more value I can bring. And to me, that was an exciting factor, as well as I wasn't making more money, but I was seeing these people grow their businesses. And off that, more clients came because that bob down the road.
Yeah,
exactly.
Of course, because the delight.
And like you said before, and you said it before, when people you're working with the right authenticity, and people would come back to you and go, "Mate, you seem like an honest guy. You actually want to help people. Yeah, you'll make money. You've got a family to feed, but you want to do it the right way."
Yeah.
And I was trying to make it as affordable because I think everyone deserves to have a brand, and everyone deserves the opportunity to learn how to do that.
Yep.
Right. It shouldn't be people shouldn't be charging $10,000 a month to work on that brand. Right. And we're talking personal brands, not company brands like Coke and McDonald's.
True.
So people should be able to afford that. And I tailored that, whether it was an employee, company, whatever it was. We worked out different strategies, different approaches, the time it took, what they were looking for, what their objectives were. Yep. And that sometimes worked on the package in regards to the price for them. So again, be adaptable when you're working on your business for your clients, but know what you do and what you don't do. The only thing that I did do it, but I don't think I did it well, was having 1 or 2 mentors that I had that I wish I had a scheduled call with them every week or 2 weeks, even if it was just 2 minutes. I didn't have that schedule. I'd pick up the phone and just have a chat with them.
Yeah.
But sometimes I felt, and I think every entrepreneur goes through it, or anybody goes through it. You have days where you just can't be stuffed.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. I just can't be bothered to throw my hands up. I'm very unmotivated. I feel flat. I just want to do a couple of things and that's it. And we all get like that. And it was those days that I would call, and these guys would give me a kick up the arse and go, "No, this is what you need to do. Get your head back in the game." So if you had, I think, that structured weekly or fortnightly, and you shared what you were working on, then having somebody hold you accountable as well. I think every great successful business person had somebody holding them accountable. Doesn't matter how successful they are. And I've spoken to some really successful people, and they tell me about the time where they had an even more successful person behind them.
Yeah.
And even they tell me their names. I go, "Wow, that was your mentor?" And they go, "Yeah, it was."
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully that shares a little bit about it, Martin.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Yeah, you're spot on there. I mean, the most successful people in the world do have someone in the background. You know, it could be a professional mentor or coach, or even their partner, or even sometimes actually their child. I've noticed some situations where I see adults get inspired, wanting to do the best they can do because of their child. Their child becomes their purpose, their inspiration. So, yeah, it's quite interesting what you're saying there. So in terms of someone that's thinking about starting a business, was there any tip or two you would say to keep in mind?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, I think I've covered it. Like, just ensure you've got everything lined up from when you're going in. So you're giving yourself the best opportunity to succeed, because running your own business, it's difficult. Right? But I don't know what the stats are now that 1 in 3 businesses fail in the first 12 months or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, have everything lined up from, IT, even simple things, the security on your IT. Right? If you're running your website, make sure that's up and running. Your branding, if you're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever you're on, make sure those are the best versions of yourself that they can possibly be. And that is telling the story, and it all flows through across all your social pages to your website. Financially, make sure you're in the best position to succeed, and presume that you're not going to make any money in the first 6 to 12 months.
Yeah.
that would probably be the best tip off that one.
Yeah.
Have enough backing that you can sit back and concentrate on the business and concentrate on growing the business and not worrying about how you're going to pay the bills next month.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you do that, you make the wrong decisions, you partner with the wrong people, you start selling the wrong products and diminishing your value, and you start giving discounts, and all of a sudden your business has gone from, I want it to be seen as this, and it drops down.
Yep.
So get everything lined up, get comfortable, and ensure and presume that you're not going to make any money in the first 12 months. And I take that a lot from finance brokers. A lot of brokers do that, and they're aware they're not going to make any money in the first 6 to 8 months.
Yes.
And the great ones concentrate on how do they get out, get clients, market that, and what they do. So, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Great tips. Thanks for that, Dino. And yeah, you're
My
spot
pleasure.
on. You know, you got to be realistic. You know, if you know that you're not going to make money in the next 6 months, and to me, this is why I'm in favor of people, if they want to start a business, to consider doing it as a side hustle. I mean, you got 6 hours after work. We could have 4 hours or 3 hours, and then you got all Saturday and part of Sunday if you want to, and then you can actually test the waters, get your branding sorted out, your messaging, you know, all that, get the platform set up. And to me, it's a low risk because you still got your paycheck coming in. So you're secure, you're not stressed. To me, I've seen a lot of people do really well doing it that way. It's kind of sensible way to do it than just, you know, cut off your job and then go all in. I mean, you can do that too. I guess you can burn the boats and take the island, as they say. But I think it's a bit more sensible to actually, you know, because it does take time to build up a business. So, yeah, cool.
And go ask people for feedback.
Yeah, that's a good
Go
point.
ask you, particularly if you've got your network on LinkedIn or Facebook or whatever, just pick out 20 people and get the email ready and hit it and go, mate, can you just answer a couple of these questions, and then be open-minded for the feedback.
Yeah.
Not everyone's going to see everything that you see.
Exactly.
You have those rose-colored glasses on, right? Going, this business is awesome. I'm going to make $1 million in the first 12 months. Yeah. But other people are going to come back and go, I actually don't like that. Why don't you change it to that? And if you take that feedback on and adjust your business, I tell you what, it's just like listening to customers, right?
Yes.
It's feedback's gold. So do it, adapt, and adjust for what the people want, but keeping your core business at the heart of it.
Yeah. Yeah, good point. And I guess if one does get a bit upset or offended, that means they've got an ego problem. It comes back
go back to removing that ego.
Back to removing the ego. No, that's cool. Well, thanks for that, Dino. So how can people learn more about you or, you know, your work or get in contact with you? And I'm happy to put links in the post once I, you know, upload it.
I use LinkedIn obviously daily, so you can visit my LinkedIn page. There's my email address that's publicly available, so you don't have to be a first-degree connection with me to see my email address. You're more than welcome to shoot me an email. I'm on Facebook as well, Instagram and Twitter, and I've also just been recently working on a new YouTube channel that if you just go under YouTube, search under Dino Pacella, you'll see my YouTube channel there as well. So if you feel free, you can come and hit the subscribe button, and I'll share tips around sales, business development, brokers, and branding.
Yeah, cool.
So there's more information on there.
Cool. Thanks for that. I'll put them in the notes.
Cool. Thank you.
Upload the video. That's cool. Do you have any final words, Dino?
Just don't be scared. Give things a go. Do you know what I mean? Like we said, it's all about that. People don't do things because of that fear factor, and it's all about what are people going to think of me? Now, stuff what people are going to think of you, because half of the time they don't care.
Yeah, they got their own problems or whatever.
Exactly. You hit the nail on the head, man. Yeah. Too many people are worried about themselves. They don't care about the person in front of them. If you flip that again and just look at it in the sense that all I want to do is help people and go in with your brand, your business, your objective of helping other people and doing it the right way, then if somebody has a problem with that, it's their problem. just give it a crack. Get rid of that fear factor. I always tell people, what is the worst that can happen if your objective is to help somebody?
Yep.
I've never been locked up. I've never had the police pull me over for saying, "Hey, why did you post about sharing a sales tip?"
Yeah.
No one's ever bagged me for doing it.
Yes.
So just give it a crack and give it a go.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, if you've got positive intent, you're trying to do the right thing. Yeah, I agree with you. Put it out there. I mean, some people are going to like it, some are not. And the reason is because, as they say, there's 4 personality types, or some people say there's 8 personality types. Not everyone's going to get it or see it the same way you see it, but that's okay. I mean, the most successful people have got naysayers or haters. And like you just touched on, I mean, people really, they're in their own head. You know, like I heard the saying where, you know, someone's got a problem. Well, you tell someone else, most people don't care. We'll say 80% don't care, 20% are glad it's you, not them. It's kind of...
it's so true.
It's so true. Yeah. Unless you got the same problem as that person, then I guess they'll be interested to find out, well, how did you resolve it? No, that's all good. Well, thanks for that, Dino. And thanks very much for sharing your story. It's very inspiring. You're a great role model for other people. And to me, you've demonstrated what's possible through hard work. So thanks for that. And
my pleasure. Thank you.
And a key takeaway that I see here is that if you've got drive and you've got the hunger and you've got the passion, you can become successful and make a difference in other people's lives. Obviously, the first step is knowing what you're passionate about and then developing it and then putting it out into the world. And if anyone needs help with finding passion and purpose, well, you can contact me. That's what I do. If someone wants help with branding, then Dino's your man. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please hit the like button if you did. Add a comment. Interested to hear your thoughts. And please share it so it reaches and benefits other people. Thanks for listening. That's a wrap. And I'll catch you next time. Ciao.
Bye.